La municipalité ne se prononce pas, mais c'est organisé depuis 1989.
La ville de Strasbourg connaît les mêmes problèmes que les grandes villes. Cela a conduit un certain nombre de maires à développer
de certaines missions, comme la circulation par exemple. Mais selon le rapport, d'autres tâches, souvent plus secondaires, continuent à bloquer les effectifs.
Il y a encore trop de policiers affectés à des tâches administratives. Il y a trop de policiers qui sont affectés comme cuisiniers, comme chauffeurs des officiers, comme...
Yeah, that's right.
Now see this building here, it's a multi-space, the big cranes on the white cranes. Here they've got floor numbers, 9, 11, 12,
You have a
Double B, staan Rose
I was wrong, that is actually not Olympics. It's Sydney cricket. Dat is die andere workshop, of niet? Begin de mic.
Yes, you do. Yeah, say more higher, please. Did you enjoy the show? Yeah! Ah, that's good. Okay, now...
We do have a deck upstairs. It's a beautiful open deck in the sunshine. If you want to go and sit upstairs, there's plenty of seats up there. Then you're free to wander around the vessel. Just be children on absolutely no running. And if anyone's looking for the restrooms, you need to go right down the bottom level, down all the steps, and you'll find the ladies and gents restrooms. If you have the welcome aboard brochure, which is this yellow one, there's a map inside the front cover, and you can follow as we are cruising today. The Highlights cruise is marked the green line, and we are starting from Circular Quay, which is marked number 24. That's where we're starting from. It's in several different languages, so any international visitors we have with us today, please come and grab a map if you don't already have one, so you can see where we are going. There's plenty down in the front of the bar if you want to come and get one. There's also plenty downstairs if you're sitting down on the bottom level. So this is Circular Quay that we're pulling away from. This is where all the ferries come and go. They link up all the suburbs dotted around the foreshores of Sydney Harbour. And most of the state transit ferries in Sydney are green and gold in colour, like that little one you can see there on the starboard side next to Circular Quay. And they are a very important part of the public transport here in Sydney. They carry about 14 million passengers every year to and from the city centre. Now the bar is not open, ladies and gentlemen. It will be at least 10-15 minutes, as I'll announce as soon as it's ready. So please just relax and enjoy the view. I'll tell you when the bar is open. It won't be for a little while. We have to get all set up. Over on the port side, now when I say port side, that's the left-hand side of the vessel. So you have to look at the front of the vessel, the direction we're going, and look out to the left. That's the port side. The starboard side is the right-hand side. On the port side is the oldest part of Sydney. That's the Rocks, the beautiful old Rocks area, which is like the colonial village. Now when the first fleet ships arrived in Sydney in 1788, most of the people on board were convicts from the overcrowded prison system of England, Scotland and Wales. And that's where they first set up their camp. All the convicts were on that side, and the governors and the officers were on the other side. Conveniently parted down the middle by a little river, a little stream, which was called the Tate Stream, and that provided fresh water for the colony. So that's where it all began in terms of our European settlement here in Sydney, 1788, on the 26th of January, which is coming up next week, and that is, of course, our Australia Day holiday. Now, it's important not to forget that the Europeans, we were not, in fact, the original inhabitants of this land. The Aborigines had been living in this land for at least 40 to 50,000 years before the European settlers. No, the bar's not open, man. Okay, the Aboriginal people were living here 40, 50,000 years. The people, the tribe that were living in this area of Circular Quay, they were known as the Eora people. They were the Sydney Aborigines that were living here at the time. Now we're heading out in an easterly direction, looking out to the starboard side. You can see our beautiful performing arts building. This is our lovely opera house. It sits on a piece of land called Bennelong Point. And this is one of our very famous Sydney icons. It's been open for just over 25 years. It was officially opened in October 1973. 25 years of a cultural icon on Sydney Harbour, and it's quite a magnificent building, and if you are a visitor, please make sure you see it. Very important building. It was designed by the Danish architect Jørn Utzon, and he won a big international design competition back in 1957. His winning design was chosen from 233 designs that were sent into Sydney from 32 countries right the way around the world. His building took 14 years to build, and it cost $102 million by the time it was finished. The two largest theatres as we go past the point. On the right is the Concert Hall, which is the home of our Sydney Symphony Orchestra, seating 2,700 people. On the left is the Opera Theatre, seating 1,550, and that's the home of our opera company called Opera Australia. Now the two operas performing at the moment as part of the festival are Puccini's Madame Butterfly, a magnificent performance. I don't know if anyone on board might have seen it, and also Carmen, Bizet's opera Carmen. There's lots and lots of exciting events going on in Sydney at the moment because, of course, it is the Sydney Festival until the 26th of this month. Lots of international artists from all around the world, dancers, musicians, theatre people, outdoor theatre. We've got even beautiful Vietnamese water puppets in the Botanic Gardens. There's so much on this wonderful program this year. So hopefully some of you that are here enjoying Sydney this time of the year will be going to some of the festival events. And the theme of this year's festival is actually called Paint the Town Red. Have you noticed at night the Opera House is all lit up red? Anyone seen it? 13 of the most prominent buildings in Sydney are lit up red at night now, only after dark. Obviously you can't see it until it gets dark. But make sure if you're wandering around this area, have a look at the Opera wandering around out there. Looks like there's a wedding going on under there, under the tree. People gathered round there, that looks suspiciously like a wedding to me. Government House through the trees, you can visit Government House on the weekends, it's a beautiful old building. And walk right the way around Farm Cove, which is the name of this little bay, Farm Cove. And there's lots of beautiful things you can explore in the gardens. It's a wonderful tropical centre, glass pyramid houses with the tropical plants, there's lovely restaurant and kiosk areas. The bit they've had Elizabeth in some of the latest films, some of the old cult movies as well. This is Mrs Macquarie's Point. No doubt many of you will have already visited this spot on a bus tour or an explorer tour or something. And this is a lovely spot to enjoy the view and sit on the grass, watch all the passing ferry traffic coming and going. You can sit on Mrs Macquarie's chair, which you can see under the large Moreton Bay fig tree. And that was built into the rock back in 1816, and that became the favourite spot where Mrs Macquarie used to sit and enjoy the view. She was the wife of the 5th governor. You can see the little stairs running up and down on each side. Mrs Macquarie's chair. The footpath goes right the way around the point, all the way down. You can see someone riding a bicycle. Distance there, it's called the AMP Centre Point Tower. And so that tower is the tallest structure in Australia at 305 metres tall. It's about 1,000 feet. And up on the top you'll find a fantastic observation deck. You walk all the way around. And on a nice clear day you can see right the way out to the Blue Mountains. And despite the awful weather we've been having today, it's quite good visibility now. If you look over to the port side, you can see way over in the distance the overlapping cliffs of North and South Head. That's the entrance out to the ocean, so that indicates there's good visibility. If you went up the town this afternoon, you'd probably get a very good view. And it's our lovely old farm park. It's 1935. Well, that's the train you can hear going overhead through the Old Harbour Bridge. It's one of the few large bridges in the world that takes the train traffic as well as cars. It is going to be reopening very soon. We're waiting to just hear the final announcements as to rather uninteresting looking block of apartments over on the corner there. It's called the Blues Point Tower. That's the area known as Blues Point. It was named after one of our early convicts called Billy Blue. Down on the starboard side you can see the very elegant cable bridge, which is called the Anzac Bridge, and that's just over 3 years old. It's the largest cable-stayed bridge in Australia. 120. It's an old harbour suburb stretching to the starboard side. It's called Pyrmont. I've been here, this is a lot of fun. It's some of them are the original wax portraits from the famous Madame Tussauds of London. Now this is the very first time these wax works have travelled outside of Europe. They've got 110 wax portraits on display here. 5 o'clock. Now they had something happening here this morning. Have a look over there, just behind the ferry stairs, where you can see people standing around. Can you see the letters, the Welcome Wall? If you've got binoculars you'll get a good view. This is just opened. This is a very special wall, and it's going to have eventually 100,000 signatures or names of people that have landed on our shores. First generation Australians, people who arrived and made their lives here in Australia. You can pay to have your name inscribed in that wall for all eternity. It's called the Welcome Wall. It was just officially opened this morning by the Governor General. It's not included in the museum. At the moment it's got, well, nowhere near 100,000 signatures, so they'll be collecting them for a good time to come, I should think. This is really a beautiful museum, open 9:30, and that does a big circular loop in an anti-clockwise direction, linking up all the shops and restaurants and cafes and museums and attractions and hotels and parks and gardens all the way around this area. Lots of free entertainment here right up till next Tuesday. From 7 o'clock at night on the other side of the bridge there, folks, you can learn to salsa and rumba for free. It's part of the Bacardi Festival in Cuba. And then about 8 o'clock every night till late, live music. there in the amphitheatre, so that's a lot of fun. So we're pulling up here at the Sydney Aquarium boats right in front of us. We're just going to stop very, very quickly. So if I could please have everyone's attention for half a moment. We are stopping at the Festival Centre. There's a huge amount to see and do. It's at Star City Casino. Go have a look.
Mit der Fähre ist ja auch schön.
A really stupid actually climbed Sydney Harbour Bridge. It cost about £35 and you probably clear diarrhea as well. Let's have a look at the people at the top there. There they are. And we follow them, and if we go down a bit you can see some on their way down. I don't know what's worse, going up or coming down actually. There they are, just walking down Sydney Harbour Bridge. Now I get a sneaking suspicion that the chap designed the Sydney Opera House and he was racking his brains one day and he dropped half a dozen eggs on the floor and this is what he got. Right, excuse the mess because I did a chance to clear up before I did this, but this is my area. It's not very big. I'm actually following on the bathroom, so you can go. There's a television down there. There's some nice damp on the ceiling up here. Let's have a look. There it goes. Nice classic damp there. Send that to Watchdog. And the window, not really a view. There is an air conditioning machine in it, so you can make the room cold. But there's no view anyway, because the window's very dirty and there's nothing outside of it anyway. You do get a television, Australian channels only. Sliding door leading to the bathroom, which you can't swing a cat in, and in there there's a toilet, fancy that, a basin and a shower, and that's it. So this is my room. There's a wardrobe as well, I forgot there's a wardrobe, yeah. So that's my exciting old room, good isn't it? 45 acres on unrivaled site, especially all my rubbish. Pretty person, alright. So, Australia. Here I am in Australia, Sydney, the capital. What can I say about Australia? Australia seems to be a combination of several things. The outback area where Sharon lives is basically a shitter. It's not very good really. Lots of very scary insects, some spiders with very long legs, and basically I had me on tentacles all the time. I've got a few bites to prove it. And there's one over there, and I've got a couple on my legs. Cities, really nice, yeah. Even just going into Caboolture and Murrayfield, the towns near where Sharon lives, it's nice to be in the real world. And going to Brisbane itself, and Brisbane was a really nice city. I was impressed with Brisbane, nice architecture, nice shops, nice friendly people, and very cheap prices. here in Sydney as well, so nice shops, a bit of a dive when it comes to the architecture. You either have modern, ultra-modern, shiny buildings, up to 30 stories high, or dilapidated old buildings. I think the idea is they just let all the old buildings rot until they fall down or start falling down and then knock them down and build something really big. But the Harbour Bridge is spectacular, the Opera House is even better, and it's a place to be. Yeah, I can say I've been here and it was quite exciting. The good thing about Australia, firstly the weather obviously, it's what for me winter time, and it's bloody warm here, it's 31 degrees today, so it's not nice. And the prices. Go into a shop, go to a restaurant, go anywhere you like, and it's cheap. Rock bottom cheap. Clothes seem to be about half the price what they are in Britain. Eating out is more than half the price it is in Britain. Public transport seems to be extremely cheap. A few things are the same, like cinemas and the likes, but generally it's very good. So, nice country to live in really. But so the hotels. Beautiful hotel in Brisbane, you were saying earlier, and crap hotel here in Sydney, but that's my fault because I decided to go with the cheaper end of the market, and I discovered I was getting paid all these surcharges for not booking within 7 days. But anyway, so a wonderful visit to Australia. In the morning they kick me out of the hotel, I go and kick ass up the solicitors, and then I go and wander around Sydney for the day before I fly back to Brisbane at 6. And 3 more days up in good old Queensland. I want to go and see the Star Trek exhibition. It's Australia Day Tuesday, a public holiday, so go to Brisbane for that and hopefully see Star Trek at the same time. And then fly back to Britain, another 27-hour nightmare flight, but this time I'll just try and stay awake for the whole thing and then collapse when I get back to Guernsey. And Friday night, back in the Blue Island prison again. That's it from Australia for the moment. More footage later from Queensland.
There's a broken part.
Huh?
Sydney, do you have like the snake demonstration thing today?
Yes, we do, yeah.
Tortoise.
What size of that thing?
It's one right by the fence, yeah. Do they bite?
Probably.
Touch it.
It's the tortoise thinks it's hippopotamus, it's wallowing in the mud.
That's very strange. Where's it one? What do you think, Mark?
Can I hop around a bit? Where was the kangaroo?
Whoa!
Oh, don't say anything, but
Take it easy, bro.
What's on now? The snake demonstration? Yeah. Can you actually see that?
oh yeah.
Don't touch me, please. Angry, look at this.
What's the thing having a shit?
It's a big surprise. Don't kill my bum.
I think that silly hat is daft enough.
I like my hat. They're the pair of them that we've got at Cunswell Garden. That's the female, the male's even more colourful than that. He's got blue on his head as well. Likes that. Naughty. Oh, look at the emus. Yeah. Yeah, we'll do that again.
You get them to come over the top one.
Oh, I'm scared. Look, 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 I touched it. No sharks here today. Imagine if this leaked.
It'd get a bit wet, wouldn't we? Imagine one of the James Bond movies here where someone lets off a gun down here. Feel like Jacques Cousteau down here.
Eh?
Feel like Jacques Cousteau down here. Look, 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 look.
I'm gonna wear the sharks. Looks good. Like all these little fish eating. There's a shark. Ah, look.
Yeah.
Ooh, look at his teeth. Look at this thing behind you. Little sharks. Look at these things. Look, look. Step off it, come here, good. Oh my god, look at the size of that fish behind it. They're gonna bite each other.
That's a shark.
piranhas. Yeah, that's a fish. Fish are slimy. Pull it out.
Touch it.
Go.
Go on. Just put your hand right in there. Weird, isn't it?
What is it?
Is it true that if you get hitched, the government gives you a block of land, a cow, a plough, some beef jerky, and a Black & Decker whipper snipper?
Yes, that is true, my son.
Oh, well then I want to go through it. I want to get hitched. I want to do the deed. I want to get married.
All right, then we are short of wedding. Stand up here. When was the last time you were in a bar?
Oh, when was the last time you got married?
Yes, all right. Let us begin then. Wait a minute, I cannot marry you.
It's all right, Red, well, I like you, but I don't want to marry you.
No, you need a bride to get married. It's traditional.
Oh, no, look, Red, I've heard all about this stuff. You know, you meet a lovely girl down there, and you go for a few drinkies, and you get a little bit friendly, and the next thing you know, you're married, you've got kids all over the place, you're mowing the lawns every weekend. No, I just want the land, the plough, the cow, especially the Black & Decker whipper snipper.
No, certainly not. I do not work that way.
I mean, I've got to have a bride.
Yes, and by the way, what is your name?
My name?
Yes.
Oh, well, it's Brett.
Obvious was in a half. Yeah.